Very nice. Uh, Meet you all online. I'm Ahsan Rani, Executive Director from Mission Green Bangladesh, and it's an honor actually to be moderating this amazing panel. And we have with us some amazing panelists. We have our special keynote speaker, and we have uh, climate warriors with us. So I hope that this 1.5 hour or 2 hours will be something very much interesting for you. A session that will teach you, that will experience you, that will let you know some things that are new for you. And I hope that it will help you learn more about the main topic that we are covering, that is nature-based solution. And when we actually started to think about this session, our main point was that for Bangladesh, actually, we always talk about innovation and solution-based innovation. And we thought that let's talk about nature-based solution, and it will help uh, young people to learn more about this topic and how we can actually implement that for Bangladesh. And so I would like to thanks to all the panelists who actually uh, uh, agreed to join this panel, and I especially thank uh, International Center for Climate Change and Development, ICCCAD, for arranging such amazing event. And we hope that we will get guests from all around the world. So the thing is, today we are standing at a critical point in human history, where the impacts of climate change are no longer predictions; they are our daily reality. So floods, cyclones, heat waves, biodiversity loss, these are not just environmental crises, they are a humanitarian crisis. And we are actually facing that day on our daily basis. So the thing is, there are lots of problems, but there is hope as well. And there is a path that is rooted in nature itself. And that is what brings us together today. So our session is titled Rooted Resilience, Harnessing Nature-Based Solutions for Community-Led Climate Action. And as you all know, nature-based solutions show us when we work with uh, uh, nature, not against it. So we can build stronger, healthier, and more resilient communities. Uh, and when we talk about nature-based solutions for Bangladesh, we talk about restoring mangroves, creating floating gardens, maybe conserving wetlands, or greening our cities. Actually, these answers are all around us, but are we doing it? Uh, let's figure out in this session. So today, when we are talking about nature-based solutions, we are actually facing a big problem in terms of climate change and uh, environment issues all around Bangladesh, especially the city we are living in, Dhaka, is facing lots of problems. So we want to know about the solutions, what are the problems we are facing, why we are facing those problems, and how we can actually uh, uh, bring solutions to those problems. And we want those solutions should be led, locally adopted, and inclusive. And because we no one understands the need of the change of that place better than its own people. So we always want uh, locally led adaptation. And we'll hear from our keynote speaker and then our panelists. So I'll not talk that much more. So let me introduce to our speakers, and our keynote speaker is uh, Alia Shahid, assistant professor from BUET and an expert in urban design and nature-based solutions. And we have with us Professor Dr. Kamrujaman Mujumdar, Dean of Science Faculty, Stanford University, Bangladesh, and he is also the chairman of CAPS, and a renowned voice on environmental science. We have with us Dr. Nasiruddin, wildlife researcher and biodiversity conservation specialist, bringing deep field experience from Bangladesh ecosystem. He has worked with local people as well. We have Mir Muhammad Ali with us, assistant professor, Shere Bangla Agriculture University, and he will be connecting agriculture, environment, and resilience. We have with us Rubaiya Nasrin Shejuti. She is a development professional and faculty member of University of South Asia. She teaches environment science there. So we have a diverse panel, and everyone will talk about a specific like topic, on a specific topic, but after that we'll get on the discussion, and we'll ask them few questions about nature-based solutions. So we have like 90 to 120 minutes, and uh, we'll be hearing from our guests. So first I will be inviting our keynote speaker, uh, Miss Alia Shahid, assistant professor from BUET, and she is from Department of Architecture. And I think I heard from her from different panels, and she's actually working with nature-based solutions like all around Bangladesh. I was once in a keynote speech of her. So I think it will be a very interesting session for all of you. So I'll not talk anymore, and I'll give the floor to Miss Alia Shahid. And after that, if you have question to her, you can also ask her, and you can send your question to chat box. And if you have question later, then you can raise your hand and we'll hear from you. So let's deep dive into the presentation of Miss Alia Shahid. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronnie Bhai. Shall I share my screen?
Sure.
I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, we can
Okay.
do that.
So welcome everyone, and thank you so much for inviting me. I will give a short introduction of myself and then I'll go into my presentation. So I'm Alia Shahid. I did my undergraduate studies in architecture, and now I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Architecture, BUET. But I actually specialized in landscape architecture in TU Delft, Netherlands. And then I got inspired about these nature-based solutions, and now I am kind of fusing it into architecture and built environment design and research. And I have some explorations over the years that I would like to share a glimpse of them here today. So I'm going to talk about nature-based solutions for urban and community resilience. Recently, I've been working on a compendium on urban nature-based solutions, which is going to be published soon by IUCN and GCA. So I gathered a lot of experience from there as well. So today I'm going to emphasize on very simple but very important aspects of nature-based solutions. To begin with, that nature-based solutions are not new to us. As Ronnie Bhai already mentioned in his introduction, that we know these and these are all around us, but somehow we are missing these right now. Um, so Bangladesh is actually a land of transient landscapes. The country is actually interspersed by so many waterways, rivers, and rivulets. And we have these monsoonal transients in the landscape of Bangladesh. So sometimes the country is totally flooded, and sometimes it's a bit dry. And it's a deltaic situation. So people have to live with this transient landscape. And the artisan communities in Bengal Delta have long coexisted with this shifting terrain, adapting to the interplay of land and water, while relying on its abundant natural resources for sustenance, shelter, and knowledge. So we have harnessed these bountiful resources from time immemorial. So we knew, and traditionally our people know how to sync to the rhythm of nature. With the seasonal changes each year, with the cycles of different seasons, people adapt to it. For example, when it's flooded, they have a different sort of livelihood pattern. When it's not flooding, the landscape is dry, they have their own system of livelihood. Um, our people knew how to preserve natural patches, for example, the coastal forest. So we have been facing cyclones, tornadoes, and tidal waves from a very long time, and our people actually knew how to live with the landscape, how to preserve these sort of natural resources, how the tidal rivers work, and how to live with them. Um, our people knew how to make very simple but very intelligent sort of interventions in the landscape. A very rudimentary intervention, for example, is the dig and mound. So if we look at a chore landscape, any sort of chore landscape in the braided river system, a very newly formed chore maybe, we can see that in the comparatively lower lands, people do agriculture, and in the comparatively higher elevations, what they do is they dig a portion of the land, make a pond out of it, and then they mound the soil to make the land or the terrace higher and build their homestead over there. So it's a very simple nature-based idea of harnessing natural resources in a very systematic way. Um, every household in the rural areas or kind of thriving urban areas still now have these patches of green forests, which we call the homestead forest. So these are actually brimming with ecosystem services. They give us food, firewood, economical benefits, lots of fruits and vegetables, and they have this unique way. You can see in this image, the satellite image, that they uniquely form this kind of ecological networks of green. So predominantly, our people unknowingly are living within nature-based solutions. And we all know about this, the floating vegetable gardens. These are not something from the West. We know that in the southern belt of Bangladesh, when it's all flooded, people actually use the water hyacinths to kind of build a floating bed and then cultivate vegetables and other crops on it. A very flexible way of living and livelihood. Um, but our transient living and our very fluid nature of livelihood um, started hankering after a hollow sense of permanence. But when did it happen and how did it happen? So we did not have this idea within ourselves. This is something that was introduced to us while the colonialists in different periods came to Bangladesh, especially when the British came here. They were very unfamiliar with this sort of mighty rivers and the uncontrollable floods and how the landscape actually changed every now and then. So there is no predictability in the landscape for the encroachers or the rulers that came from outside. So they actually, for their earning of taxes and revenues and management of land, they made our transient landscape into a very fixed land-based agrarian community because it was easy to harness the resources from there. But the river actually flooded, till then. So they actually built embankments and permanent structures to stop that flood. So now we had been shifting from this transient, nature-friendly living towards a more permanent sort of living style where we had to fight with nature to keep it outside our lands, to keep our land parcels clean and dry and high, and to build more permanent establishments on the landscape. And that actually induced the calamities. So when you don't put an embankment on a river, the river flows naturally, and it doesn't have any adverse effects on the landscape. It brings more fertile land in the landscape. But when you kind of want to control it, want to channelize it, there is excess power, and then that kind of disrupts the entire system. That's why more erosion happens. So this flooding and erosion actually became a huge problem when we tried to make our land free of water. So this hollow sense of permanence actually made us forget about the nature-based ways of living. Um, and now we have this. So this is a satellite image from uh, the place I live, Mirpur. So the metro rail was still under construction at that time when I took this screenshot from Google Earth. And it's very heartbreaking to see. After so many pictures of lush greenery and wet landscape, you see this hard concrete, soulless, and so much heat in it, right? We are so uncomfortable in this city life, which we built, by the way. We hankered after permanence. We wanted our land parcels to hold concrete blocks and to earn only money from it and not care about anything else. So we cleared out all the green, we filled up all the swamps, and now we have a very heated up city which we complain about every now and then. We are always complaining about Dhaka's transportation system, which could have been a waterway led one, but we just dumped the idea of waterways and we went after roads, and the roads actually disrupted all the canals and waterways in the city, and now we have traffic congestion and many other urban challenges. And climate change actually induces the challenges. For example, we have been facing so much urban heat island effect in the past few years that now we are planting trees, but people are actually not getting the point that if you plant trees now, to get the coolness out of that venture, you have to wait another 10 to 15 years for the trees to give you shade. So you shouldn't have cut them anyway. So now we need to be reminded about NBS. We need to kind of have a flashback about NBS. And then we have these beautiful NBS themes and concepts that we can work with. So I'm sharing here the IUCN definition that I've come to know, that nature-based solutions are actions to protect, sustainably manage, and restore natural and modified ecosystems in ways that address societal challenges effectively and adaptively to provide both human well-being and biodiversity benefits. From my realm of work, I work as an architect and landscape architect. So from my point of view, we always try to design a built environment or plan or do a broader scale landscape or urban design, considering these aspects of NBS. That NBS is not a very costly idea. It's very eco-friendly, so it's not costly. And sometimes adapting to NBS may seem that there is no economical benefit, but actually we have many economic co-benefits from it. And it actually caters to society in so many ways, we can see. So how can a growing city adapt to NBS? The fear factor in our current development scenario is that all the growing cities are kind of following Dhaka, or they want to become like Dhaka, whereas Dhaka has failed as a livable city. So how does a growing city actually now adapt to NBS so that it can thrive in a better way? So that development does not only mean construction of huge concrete chunks or hard infrastructures, where development means a very sustainable living with nature. So I am sharing here a study that we did in the scope of exploring NBS in a city. So we went to Nilphamari city for another work, and there we kind of studied the city's problems, and we talked to the stakeholders, the administration, and the locals, and we found out that they have many persisting or imminent urban challenges, environmental challenges, climate change related challenges. For example, there is urban heat, there is waterlogging issue, and they want to become better with NBS, and they don't know how to do that. So first, what we did is we mapped all the problems in a very regional scale. So this is the systemic layer because this focuses on the broader systems. If we do not understand how the systems work, we cannot focus on the micro scale or the neighborhood scale or the city scale of nature-based solutions. Nature-based solutions only work at its best when they are connected to the entire system. So we actually found out the major challenges of the region. For example, here we can see that the red is the built-up area, which is a dense urbanity, and kind of the wetlands are died down because of filling up, and there is this lost canal line or river tributary that could work for the flood management of the city. And then we kind of adapted to certain nature-based principles, for example, reviving urban wetlands, urban forests, vegetative buffers, roadside plantation, reviving water courses, and we kind of made a vision map in the regional scale to show how these NBS could work in the larger scale. So you see that all the wetlands are, if they revive, they could be part of this bigger wetland system, so the region could better manage the floodwater or the rainwater or the stormwater, and how these existing road infrastructures that are hardscapes can actually accompany with the green buffers like tree lines or shrubs or bioswales, and they can also become a part of a green infrastructural network. And how these revived canals can also connect to the greater water system. Um, so we have adapted certain NBS principles to envision this scenario. And if a city wants to actually adapt to NBS, they can have an urban framework planned beforehand. They are doing the city master plan, because when you are doing a city master plan, if you keep these areas uninterrupted, then you can actually implement certain benefits or NBS solutions in future. So how these wetlands and water lines could work in a wet season or during the drought, how they could facilitate people by recharging the aquifer, or how the green infrastructure could actually work by preserving the green patches or planting more trees. That need to be devised out. And then in the neighborhood scale, we could actually experiment more with the vision, and maybe we could have pilot studies implemented to see how the nature-based principles work inside a city, how it would look, how it would actually increase the livability of the city. And then we do not want NBS or nature-based solutions to be a top-down approach. We never want that. We always want to discuss with stakeholders at various scale levels, from the systemic layer towards the micro scale. These visions could actually prompt a stakeholder participation for further real-scale implementation, real-life implementation. So maybe there's this lake that could be more accessible for people if we do placemaking, urban placemaking in it. So maybe this is just a prompt image that we throw towards people, and then people can actually say what they need, what would be more better, what could actually help them to achieve better livability. So that's how NBS could actually be implemented in a growing city. And then the community-led portion of the NBS, if we ask ourselves, can NBS be really bottom-up and community-led? So that is a question I always ask myself, and we have done few research works on that as well. When we see like the rural areas of our country, we see so much green. And if we really look into it, we can see that so many of it is just for food production. So you see large tracts of paddy fields, which are food. And then we have these so many fruit trees. People actually prefer fruit trees for plantation or trees that give you economic benefits. So it's actually a productive landscape. And this art of planting or gardening or agriculture doesn't die down when you move towards the city. While you look at the city that is actually kind of getting drier and drier, losing its blue and green patches every year, and it's anticipated that Dhaka will lose most of its green by the uh, end of this decade. So, what could be done? What could we actually do at our personal level to combat that dire situation? During the COVID period, while I was living in Mirpur back in 2021, early 2021, we noticed a very interesting idea that people were doing a lot of urban agriculture in their own realm. So people were using the house setbacks or the that were empty for about months. They used their fields to like cultivate vegetables, and then there was vegetable gardens in the sidewalk. There was vegetable on the island of the roads, main roads, and we mapped them. There was also a kind of thriving agricultural practice in informal settlements, for example, coral slum. So we mapped all of these instances, and we also went to the peripheral area in the northwestern periphery of Dhaka, in the edge of Mirpur and Uttara, and saw that people are kind of leasing lands to the farmers or the people who are living in the peripheries for agricultural production. Then we kind of had this whimsical idea: what if people are doing it so much that the city becomes green with only doing this spontaneous urban agriculture? And then we studied the native practices that I also showed before, the local examples, and we also took inspiration from the foreign precedents, for example, in Cuba. And then we wanted to balance between economy, ecology, and social needs, how these could be small places of urban attraction to people for recreation, and how they could cater ecology so that the agriculture is not invasive, it's kind of organic and eco-friendly, and also how it could be managed by people and harnessed by people and get economic benefits. So we derived a set of principles, and we kind of also designed a management regime for each of those ideas. It was a very interesting kind of imaginative exploratory exercise, but it actually inspired us a lot. And then we kind of envisioned this idea in the broader scale that if we are doing this we are using the urban water bodies for floating vegetable beds, using the edge of the water bodies for vegetation. We can use the informal settlements, and we can inspire people. We can also do it in the residential blocks, the footpaths, the islands, and kind of scale up that. And we can use the most prominent infrastructural network of Dhaka, the road infrastructure, to actually harness this sort of vegetation trails and then get a Dhaka city that is more green. So that was our vision. So definitely we believe that NBS can be and surely can be community led and should be community led in certain cases, definitely. But sometimes a bigger vision is deemed necessary, and we should think out of the box, and we should always remember our past. So this is a research that we have done a few years back, and we presented a paper recently at a conference. This is a very interesting one coming from the systemic layer again, because if you do not address the systemic layer, the actual benefit of NBS cannot be harnessed. In any braided river system, it has its own dynamics, but I have mentioned earlier that the colonial embankments and the imposing infrastructure on the rivers are actually making more harm than good, and they have failed so many times rather than protection. So we have this idea that envisioning river-based urbanism in Bangladesh, where we can see that in multiple scales. So we focused on a small area of Sirajganj city. Sirajganj is a very flood-prone city in the Jamuna Brahmaputra river system, and it has been suffering a lot. It has also a very prominent canal going inside it, which is called the Katakhali Khal, which is recently revived, but still the city is suffering. This Shirajganj city, if we look into it, we can see that the road infrastructure and the embankment infrastructure is actually not letting the waterways or the river tributaries come into the city more flawlessly. Rather, they're hindering the. Yeah. And then the city is flooded and the water cannot go anywhere. Um, and we wanted to approach this problem from the systemic layer and from the native wisdom inspired landscape. So we call it the landscape system informed design strategies. The tributary rivers will be reconnected, protective wind belts will be there, and floodplain would be reconnected with the river system. The major problem of making road embankments, ring roads along rivers is that you disconnect the floodplain from the river system, but floodplain is actually the river. You cannot disconnect it. If we do, then we are not actually going towards nature-based solutions. Um, and then we actually did this large kind of study. It was a very tenuous study, and we had several iteration phases. We tried a lot of things, and what predominantly existed is that the river and the canals and the river tributaries should be let them flow naturally over the cities, and the cities actually built themselves by cutting out all these flows, and now they are actually facing a lot of problems because of that. So it should be a river based urbanism. And we kind of imagine that now the city looks like this. What if all the tributary lines are kind of accentuated and all these pieces of land become the city? And then the city will never have any problem with flood because the flood water can go anywhere. And then we can have this smart water-based transportation system within the city. We do not need a very intense road network if we are water-based. So that was the kind of whimsical idea, and then we actually rooted that idea with infrastructural lines and all, and we got a resultant map. And in the very neighborhood scale, people could actually reshape their lives and go back to their friendly relation with the river or nature and promote river-based urbanism in settlement scale or neighborhood scale, where the pond and flood mount sort of ideas or harnessing the floodplain, how it goes, these kind of come back. So this is something that is extreme because we are actually promoting and letting all the river lines come inside the city, and we are thinking of the city in a very new way. But we think that some sort of out of the box paradigm shifting thinking is actually necessary for Bangladesh because um, we have been going in the wrong way for the last 100 years, actually. Um, we had a total water system already designed for us, but we actually blocked them to make a road-based infrastructure, which is totally wrong. So, what is the future? So much sadness with these wrongdoings, but what is the future? Um, so, during the COVID period, we actually did a very fun workshop with children of schools and also from the Department of Architecture of various universities. So, we actually had this school, Rayar Bazar High School, located in Rayar Bazar, Dhaka. So, there they had this playground, but during the kind of post-COVID time, they wanted to do something in the periphery of the playground. They wanted to make playful gardens for children. And we actually had the children decide what to do. So we had this art charade where children were drawing what they want, how they want their learning environments to be. And then we have these beautiful drawings done by the students of the school from various levels where they showed how they dreamt their schoolyard. But this is not just the drawing. After some period of time, the NGO we collaborated with, it's the Work for Better Bangladesh Trust, WBP. they actually initiated certain portion of this research into real life, and they took the students, they did these participatory workshops with the community, and then they devised out a very eco-friendly, economic way of doing this school garden, which is also productive. It's not just flowers and butterflies, it's also vegetables that the students displayed and sold. They were very happy with it. And now we can only prepare our future generation, inspiring about these very small nature-based solutions. We can inject these beautiful ideas within them so that they grow up to be very sensitive human beings who don't go against nature but live. Um, so back the forest, take your town. That's the ultimate saying that we can say by Tagore. Thank you, everyone. I think I've shared some of my thoughts. I hope this helps in some way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think if anyone wants to actually learn about, get an idea about nature-based solution, this presentation is like more than enough. So thank you so much for this amazing presentation. So I have actually small questions for you uh, to know more about uh, NBS and its implementation. So when we actually talk about NBS, most of the time this question comes up that how can we actually better integrate nature-based solutions into urban planning, especially in rapidly growing cities like Dhaka. So can you uh, uh, guide us that how young organizations, youth, or any NGO or organizations can actually implement some or few solutions in Dhaka?
It's a very good question. And in a recent studio of mine that was led by me in Kuwait, I took the studio with the urban planning students of Faculty of Architecture. So actually, first you have to address the planning level of a city framework, because that's the major guideline that we use. So we started with the planners, and they are very young, they're second year students. So they actually questioned the existing DAP of Dhaka, and they took the northwestern periphery of Dhaka as a site, because still we have a lot of wetlands and green nature there. If you travel to Uttara North or Uttara Center, you'll see a lot of birds, a lot of wetland, a lot of nature there. So our students actually made a new depth, focusing on nature-based solutions, focusing on the urban problems. So that's one way that maybe we can actually rethink our detailed area plan, where more nature-based ideas are implemented or shown. And in the micro scale, or in the individual or community scale, we can always start somewhere. We can start with the water bodies of one area, or we can start with planting more systematic planting, of course, not arbitrary, but we can initiate sort of community-led initiatives. For example, I saw an idea in the Coral Slum a few days back, 1 or 2 months back. I went to the Coral, and I saw that the people are actually using the edge of the lake to do urban agriculture and plant more trees and harness vegetables over there. And that's so beautiful. The edge with the Coral Slum has become so beautiful. So smaller initiatives are may seem that they are insignificant, but in a larger scale, if we all take small initiatives, they can actually form up to be good enough in the systemic layer as well. So anything, any community-led venture that preserves a pond or even a tree, maybe a banyan tree, preserve one tree, that could be enough for the birds to stay and thrive. So no venture is small.
Thank you so much. Actually, we as an organization from Mission Green Bangladesh, we always try to work for the solutions. And as you mentioned about Corail, we uh, the place we met actually, that is near Gulshan Lake, where a group of volunteers are working for the nature. They work there every day. They clean the dirt uh, of the nearby lake, and they clean up the dirt, and they plant trees there. And like it's a 3 kilometer of green road now. So this initiative was initiated by Mahmoud Rahman bhai, and now it's a big community. Like every day now, around more than 20 people are coming, and they are working like volunteer work, and they are bringing changes in this community. And like I always say that the people who are actually working hard for the nature, the result is for all of us. So we are getting results, but everyone is getting results, but these people, we are trying to do that in the field. So everyone actually should do something from their end, from their uh, own self, from their area, or maybe their community. So thank you so much. We'll, I think, get back to you again with some questions, and we'll get to learn more from you then. So as we were discussing about locally led adaptation, and also like nature-based solutions, there are actually lots of nature-based solutions around Bangladesh and around the world that are actually remarkable, and people actually can get inspiration. We can get inspiration from this uh, nature-based solutions. And for Bangladesh, uh, I always say that Bangladesh should be another name of innovation. We should work for the innovation. We should work for the uh, solutions. And when we get these ideas from a panel like this, or a discussion like this, then I think we can get the get all the ideas to implement those, how we can actually work for the nature, and how we can bring some solutions. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. So I think I will go to my next panelist, and uh, to introduce him. Actually, the main thing about him is he is like a worker in the field. He actually goes frequently to wildlife. He work for the he works for the wildlife of Bangladesh. He has experience of working with wildlife like all around the world. And i- if I talk about our country, he has worked at the Sundarbans. And if I talk about biodiversity conservation, he is one of the key person in Bangladesh. And when I if you ask me, when I want to know about wildlife or biodiversity, he is the person, and he is actually a person who has like on hand experience. So I want to uh, invite Dr. Nasiruddin. He is a leading wildlife researcher and biodiversity conservation professional, and a lover of the nature. So let's hear from Dr. Nasiruddin. Yes, bhai, you can start. We can't hear you actually. No. We still can't hear you. I think if you get rid of your headphone, it will be better. Can't hear you here.
Ronnie bhai, am I audible now?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, thank you so much. I think we must thank the keynote speaker. She presented very well. I am going to share some examples actually that I have encountered and I have seen. So in general, if I want to introduce myself, Ronnie already mentioned, I have been actually working with ICCCAD, that is International Criminal Investigative Training Assistance Program, which is part of United States Department of Justice. But now my work is actually, we are not working in Bangladesh as our work is in postponed due to the US government decisions. And currently I am also working as a consultant for one of the Bangladeshi local NGO called YTIM. Nesar-based solutions is all about, if we want to say about Nesar-based solutions, we must always think Nesar and solution with that. I mean, solving a problem with natural system. To talk about that, I always recall one of the thing, tragedy of commons. Basically, land, water, air, all those are natural resources and the property of nature. We always take benefit of all those things. But if we think that we need to conserve or need to do something, then we always think, oh, this is not my duty. This is not my duty. There is someone else. For example, in Bangladesh, there is Department of Environment. If we think about the environment, if we think about wildlife, okay, there is Forest Department. If we think about water, there is Water Resource Management Department, something like that. But we all take benefit of those natural resources. So what is the tragedy in here? Tragedy of commons, those property are common, benefit are taken by everyone, all the common people, from the prime minister to the root level people, who is living in a geographical position or in this earth. They are taking benefit of all those things, but when in context of preservation, conservations, or protections, we are just telling that should have an authority. This is not my responsibility. So for being a common property, they feel this tragedy. No one want to take their responsibility, but everyone want to take the benefit of all those things. So in this context of the system, we community-based people or the activist group or the people like Mission Green and other activist groups who are working across the country as well as throughout the world, they can mobilize this common force or the negligence of communities towards the conservations to make them understand that how they can solve natural issues by changing their behavior or their activities. I'll give an example considering the Bangladesh Sundarban. So you all may know that Bangladesh Sundarban is world's largest mangrove forest. Although this is a continuous forest of India and Bangladesh, and we have around 6,017 square kilometer of land based, and people in around the Sundarbans, around 3.5 billion people directly dependent upon the resources of the Sundarbans. They collect nipa palms, they collect honey, they collect fishes, and non-timber forest produces firewood, everything they collect. So what is the problem in here? When people go inside the forest, for natural resource collections, there is a chance of getting interacted with top predator, the Bengal tiger. They may attack human, and if people being attacked or get attacked by the tiger, they may be retaliatory to the tiger. They may take actions against tiger. So one of the local NGOs I mentioned, the Wild Team, what they have taken in the Sundarbans, they have taken a project, Tiger Tolerant Model Village. One of the intervention is improve cooking stoves, providing a scientifically built cooking stoves, which is very cheap as well as can be produced in the local level to increase the firewood consumption, burning efficiency. So what they have found that using the improved cooking stoves reduce 31% of firewood use. Means if they used to use 100 kilogram firewood for a month, now they are using 69 kilogram, means 31 kilogram firewood burning reduced. That means then don't need to go forest for this 31 kilogram firewood. That ultimately reduce their interaction, chance of interaction with tiger, also reducing impact of the natural vegetations of the Sundarbans. As we know that mangrove is one of the mangrove species sequester around more than 6 times carbon than terrestrial, the plant. So if we can preserve mangrove properly, that's ultimately helping us to play a role to mitigate climate change issues in the world. So this is one of the locally practicing examples. Now they have trained 1,000 people and provided ICS to 1,000 community people. And now those community people now making ICS and they are selling with very low price to the local communities. And gradually it's getting practiced throughout the 8 upazila surrounding the Sundarbans. And ultimately, we are expecting that gradually it will play a very vital role on the preservations of the Sundarbans and preservations of the mangrove. Another one study based on this ICS, they found that in traditional methods of cooking, once they use traditional stove, there was huge fume. That ultimately one of the causes for their respiratory disease. In context, in very common form, COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases. But after the use of the ICS, respiratory disease susceptibility also reduced around maybe more than 30%. I don't have the actual data, but there is a publications about it. This is one of the good example that we have been actually practicing in the Sundarbans, and that can be practiced to other areas that surrounding natural resource prone area or national parks. This is another one example of Bangladesh. We know that in Bangladesh, many areas mixed agroforestry is one of the common practice. Although we consider this is a forest and agriculture, but it's also one of the good source to harbor many wildlife. For example, home-seated forest, loving wildlife like fox, birds, and many wild species can take shelter all those forests and ultimately, helping the natural resource conservations as well as wildlife protections. If we see some examples of this mixed agroforestry in Bangladesh, I mean, there may have many other areas. Jackfruit-based agroforestry in Mymensingh and Ghazipur regions. This is also one of the practice in Chittagong hill tracts as well. And date palm system in Faridpur and Jashore regions. Mango-based systems in Rajshahi and Barin, tract. So this system can be also replicated to other areas that will help mitigating climate issues, conservations of wildlife, as well as supporting agriculture. That is one of the basic need of common people of Bangladesh. Another very interesting example that is in other country, in our neighboring country, India, living shorelines. We have seen to we have seen very successful, interventions of this. In the right, we can see the picture that they have uh, uh, placed some, terracotta in the shorelines and just next to the embankment. You know that Sundarbans in the low tide, high tide, or also in, full moon tide, there is a very big wave that's ultimately, the break the embankments. This is same to the coastal area of Bangladesh. Basically, that's surrounding the Sundarbans like Koira, Shamnagar, as well as Ashashuni, all those areas. So what they have done in India, basically this project initiated by Worldwide Fund, WWF India, in 2022, they placed next to the embankment, they placed some terracotta, and they allowed natural siltation to those terracotta, and also cultivated wild rice like dani or Rhiza quarteta. And gradually, once those rice cultivation, improved, they allowed cultivation of mangroves in those areas. So these terracotta ultimately acting to hold sediment and acting as a microenvironment to support natural generation of wild rice. I mean salinity, what is called saline stable rice, and gradually cultivation or growth of the mangrove forest. So this is one of the successful project that's practicing in the Indian Sundarbans. One of the things that I need to mention, in Bangladesh Sundarban, this is a continuous forest. Like there is no community people in around the Sundarbans. But in Indian Sundarbans, is a kind of passages of island that make the Sundarbans. A small island, then another island, and there is water, and those islands actually shared by the communities. So this system is actually working very well to protect the people, those who are living in the Pesci island of Indian Sundarbans, and that could be replicated in Bangladesh Sundarbans as well. Now I am going to share another one of the example. This is Subuk system on Bali Island. This is one of the World Heritage Site actually. So how this system is working? The Subuk systems in Bali is one of the traditional cooperative water management systems. This is mainly done for the rice field and started in the back of 9th century. So what they do, actually, they have a cooperative water management. Farmer organize themselves into subuk. Subuk in Indonesian language called communities, where decisions about water allocation, planting, harvesting are made collectively. Together they make the decision, and they also incorporate engineering in this irrigation system. What is that? The system utilizes a network of canals, basically tunnels, barriers, to distribute water efficiently across traced rice field. They also have a social structure like subuk communities, mainly governed by customary rules. They consider is awake and traditional rituals that helping them in cooperation and community responsibilities. This system also influenced by the religious norms, like the systems mainly intertwined with Balinese spirituality, including the concept of Tri-Hita Karna, which is emphasize harmonious relationship between human. Tri-Hita Karna. This means relationship between a human, nature, and divine. Cultural significance, they consider is one of the cultural significance, and also sustainable agriculture. All those system actually implemented for this subuk system, one of the traditional but well managed nature-based irrigation systems in the Bali, and that is one considered as one of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. So what we can do in Bangladesh actually for these nature-based solutions, our keynote speakers already mentioned a lot of things, and we have found a very good ideas at what we can do across the country. So there can be, mangrove restorations and expansion. We have mangrove forest that's in Sundarban as well as in the Chakoria. Although the Sundarban is still, we can say the virgin or, still intact, but the Sundarban in Chakoria, degraded, and I think need, further effort to restore. Agroforestry and climate resilience agriculture, that's one of the good things actually, or the very best practice we need to think. We have seen that communities and coastal communities are mainly migrating to the city areas. Why? Because of the climate impact of climate change. In Sundarban areas, there is a negative impacts, basically that due to the salinity, natural cultivation of agricultural products are very problematics, and also high raise of what is called the tide water sometimes help people to catch wildlife in the Sundarbans. How is it? If water level increase in the Sundarbans, people basically who go inside the forest, they take an actions to catch spotted deer. If water level increase so high, there are maybe some areas in the Sundarbans that water cannot reach. So spotted deer and almost all kinds of wildlife go that areas to take shelter for 6 hours until when the high tide water stays. And hunter or ill motivated people, they already know which place are actually suitable place for wildlife to stay during the high tide. They go there and they collect wildlife. So this is water level increase, not only changing people's behavior, preventing them for natural agricultural cultivations. This also help impacting on our wildlife. Wetland conservation and restorations. We know that we have many wetlands basically in the Howard areas, and also lakes, basically the Kaptai lakes. Urban green infrastructure that can be, we already practicing some, like we can practicing rooftop gardenings and vertical gardening systems. And also there are many other innovative systems that we can think. Floating agricultural systems, that's also one of the method can be used as a based solutions for house areas, or water logging, water marsing areas, amphibious architectures for house areas where continuous water logging condition starts. Community-based disaster risk management, utilizing community force volunteers, not only for community-based interventions, but for disaster risk management. I can give an example like village tiger response team in the Sundarbans, and elephant response team, Bangladesh biodiversity conservation, similar things like the volunteers of Mission Green Bangladesh. Although they are motivated for forest conservations or environmental conservations, they can be trained and motivated to act during natural disaster or during any natural calamities. Reforestation, afforestation programs, that can also be some good practices in future Bangladesh to be adopted as an SR-based solutions. And thinking regarding the nature-based solution, it's all about, we have to think. It's not like that something scientifically proven, that we need to wait that something scientifically proved, replicable. It's all about us. There are many peoples in the natures, or they may not be educated, but their ideas or long time traditional practices can be incorporated in scientific knowledges, and can be utilized as an SR-based solution. So to adopt an SR-based solutions, my personal experiences, it's all about, we need to see more options, as well as we can also connect the communities, those who are inhabiting long times in a certain landscape, certain ecosystem, and certain environment, and also merge with the scientific knowledges and think a better ways to solve natural issues in natural way. So this is actually, this was a small presentations of mine. Thank you for your patience and hearing me. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer. If that's are in my, scope. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. This was something very much, I think, thought-provoking for the participant here or who will hear it later. Because like when we hear example about something, then it becomes it stays in our mind. So I think it will help uh, lots of people to understand the nature-based solution processes and how we can actually bring that change in our community as well. So thank you so much, Nasir bhai, and hopefully I'll come back to you with some questions later. So now I will give floor to Mir Muhammad Ali bhai, and it will be like it will be a session on a specific topic, because the thing is in Bangladesh, when we talk about Bangladesh to our people or people from all around the world, we always talk that we tell them that Bangladesh is a land of Bangladesh is a place that is a land of rivers, that is a land of ponds and wetlands. We have Bay of Bengal as well. So the thing is, uh, we have like lots of water bodies all around Bangladesh. But the thing is, nowadays, when we talk about wetlands, it's not most of the time properly taken care of, and we are not using these wetlands properly. So how we can actually use them, and how we can use them for nature-based solutions, and how we can connect local people uh, to adapt these changes and bring these solutions to their communities. So we'll hear all of this from the next presentation by Mir Muhammad Ali, Assistant Professor at Sher Bangla Agriculture University. Over to you, Mir Bhai.
Okay, thank you, Asan Rani Bhai. Just I am sharing my screen for a brief presentation, and I will discuss it. So, thank you. Firstly, I would like to give thanks to ICCCAD and Mission Green Bangladesh for giving me the chance. From the last 5 or 6 years, 5 years mostly, it's a popular Gobeshona conference. So, I am here in Shere Bangla Agriculture University. It's some natural feelings in Dhaka city. So here I am teaching the aquaculture, fisheries, and the marine science. So we know in the aquaculture sector or fisheries sector there are some problems. We know the raising of water temperature, sea level rise, ocean acidification, and different types of extreme events. So there are the also the pattern change of the rainfall, and after that there are different types of disease outbreak in the aquatic ecosystem, and there are the habitat degradation. There are the fish like the national flag fish. It's called the hilsa. Just it's a migratory fish, and the root is in the Bangladesh. And there are some problems here. And we always talk about the salinity intrusion in the coastal region, and there are the limited types of aquaculture opportunity there. So there are different types of socioeconomic vulnerability. So today, we will discuss on some topics like how we will manage these ponds as the local-led adaptation, or it's a good practice for the environment. So one practice I can just show is the integrated floating aquageoponic system. This system is like if the water body is higher, it will be stand higher, as there are different types of drums are here, and it can be easily used in the pond. If we can see it in the visually, the picture is if there are the highest water level is in the higher level, this um, drums will be in the upper side, and in the here in the pond you can culture fishes, and also here in the you can easily culture the fishes, because in the Borishal region in Bangladesh most of the ponds are shaded with different types of trees, so limited sunlight in the pond. So in the middle of this pond they can use these types of integrated floating aqua geoponic system, and it will also give the productivity and efficient resource use also. So it's a better practice than the others. So another practice it's currently introduces in Bangladesh as the nutritious pond concepts. And now we are saying it as the nutrition sensitive aquaculture. So because we are giving different types of feed and additives, and sometimes different types of pesticides, chemicals are from different types of area. So in these types of ponds, we will give only the fertilizer like urea and TSP. And before using that, we will use the lime only to purify the pond. So here we will do something as when we will use the fertilizer, there will be the growing of the phytoplankton and zooplankton. So after the phytoplankton and zooplankton, it's the feed of the different types of carp fishes like silver carp, katla, mrigel, calibaus, and rui fish. So these fishes are easily eat these types of phytoplankton and zooplankton, and we can give the feed. It's called the locally made feed through the rice bran, wheat bran, and different local materials. So we will give the feed today, and after day alternative day we will give the feed. So when they will be hungry, they will eat different types of planktons, and then after day one, they will get the uh, locally made feed. So we have conducted some experiments in Bangladesh, and we saw that the performance is near about the same, but the cost is it's the 30% less of the cost. So this pond concepts we can easily use in Bangladesh, and most of the pond in the Borishal region, like there are 3 lakhs pond in Bangladesh, and it's unused. So they are not easily used it in the used it for the commercial purpose, so we can easily use it. Another thing is the we know in Bangladesh there are the freshwater aquaculture system and marine water aquaculture system. In the freshwater we culture different types of fish on different layer of the fishes, and but we are thinking for the it's called the integrated multi-tropic aquaculture. So when we will culture the fishes as the polyculture, it's different as the integrated multi-tropic aquaculture. How it's different? It's different as if we use it in the coastal region or in the Cox's Bazar region. You know, in the Cox's Bazar region, most of the people use the seaweed culture, but they use only the seaweed culture. But in the integrated multi-tropic aquaculture system, it's a product of IMTA. So we will culture the oyster also. You know, the oyster is a filter feeding organism. So they are purifying the water body in that area, and we will also use the oyster, green mussel, and some other fishes like in Bangladesh, it's popular is Nona tangra. It's called also it's called the mistus species or the some catfish species and some sivas species. We can easily use it in the coastal region, so we can easily introduce it in the coastal area of Bangladesh where there are the problems in the salinity intrusion or the salinity problem. These types of species easily grown in the ecosystem of Bangladesh. So it's the just IMTA model I am just showing here. It's the one thing is the finfish, organic shellfish, and inorganic seaweeds are simultaneously grown in one system. So here is the another model how we can use it, and it's already started in the coastal region of Bangladesh. Another thing I can say, the aquaponic system, you all know the aquaponic system in the urban area, so we can use it, and we just can see that the aquaponics we can easily culture the fish and plants in the recirculatory system. Here we will not use any types of additives or any types of pesticides, herbicides, others. So in the urban area or in the rooftop of any house, we can easily use these types of system. So we know this system is worked through the recirculatory system. Through the recirculatory system, this is the whole system. I am not describing due to the time limitation, but the aquaponic system can be used in the urban area to mitigate the food security problem, and people can easily get the nutrition, or easily they can get the protein source from the it's the fresh food from his own house. So I have shown these types of technologies only. So I have to acknowledge the ICCCAD and the Mission Green Bangladesh. So thank you. Now I can give some answer if you ask some question.
Thank you so much, Mir Muhammad Ali Bhai. And it was something different, I am sure, for all the participants here and who will hear it later. Because when we talk about climate, environment, or nature-based solution, we always, I think, talk about our urban uh, problems or urban solutions. We talk about maybe our nature, but we always, I think, forget about our wetlands. We always forget about the like ecology under the water. So I think it was very much insightful for all the listeners, and I'll be back to you after we hear from Professor Dr. Kamrujaman Mojumdar sir. And if I want to talk about SAR, it's like some when we talk about climate, environment, and the problems we are facing. If we talk about the pollutions we are facing in Bangladesh, and when we talk about the people who are actually like always like talking about these problems and writing about these problems and asking the government to take steps. I think Dr. Kamrujaman sir is one of the few people who is always active on this. That he is a, I think, very much active researcher and activist. He is always giving us updates on the air pollution, how it is, and always maybe update on the sound pollution or something else. So if you want to actually know about the uh, Bangladeshi environment uh, current scenario, Sar is the perfect person, I think. And his organization, Center for Atmospheric Pollution Studies, is always studying about the pollutions, about its solutions, and how we can actually bring some nature-based solutions. We'll hear from Sir. And I welcome now Professor Dr. Kamrujaman Mojumdar, Dean at Environment Science Faculty, Stanford University. I think Science Faculty of Stanford University, and Chairman of Center for Atmospheric Pollution Studies, CAPS. So, sir, for you.
Okay. Thank you, Hassan Rodibhai, for giving me the opportunity to talk in front of this August gathering. Before starting my talk, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Gobeshona Global Conference 5 authority, that means the International Center for Climate Change and Development, ICCCAD authority, for continuously giving effort for this wonderful conference. Thank you, Mission Green Bangladesh, as well, for hosting this session as well. So, as you mentioned, air pollution or any other problem that like environmental problem that are very common country like Bangladesh. And according to WHO, the people that are dying um, that are dying in Bangladesh are mostly uh, related to different type of environmental pollution. And among those environmental pollution mortality, that people dying because of air pollution, and the level is very high. So, as today's session is something for resilience and nature-based solution, also that is connected with the community-led climate action, I would rather give some of the issue, some of the highlights from how environmental pollution can be reduced by using some of the local indigenous type of nature-based solution. For example, Bangladesh is exposed one of the highest air pollution in the world, and government is trying their level best for minimizing the air pollution. But there are a lot of challenges. We have thousands of illegal brick fields. We have lakhs of fitnessless vehicles. We are burning waste here and there. Then construction activities are not conducting by following the building construction rule or construction policies. So all the issues is coming together and increasing the air pollution. Uh, so we cannot stop all the illegal brick fields in a day. We cannot stop all the fitnessless vehicle. We cannot phase out them from the road in a fine morning, in a certain morning. And it is not easy to stop waste burning all over the country. So what is the alternatives? The one of the way is the like awareing the people regarding the pollution, and in connecting them to get some solution, what we call the community led solution. As one of the main or important factors for global warming is the emission. It may be carbon emission, it may be methane emission, or like any other pollutant, short-lived climate pollutants. So what do we need to do? We need to engage the community people for addressing those problems by some of the nature-based solution. And I can share. I will be happy to share one of our recent initiative, that is actually community or citizens-led initiative, and that is planning for getting an integrated solution for air pollution, noise pollution, and urban heat issues. So resilience from pollution as well as the heat problem, urban heat island issues. And we are planning to actually design the vertical gardening across the city in Dhaka initially, uh, by using all the pillars of the metro communication and elevated expressway and BRTA system. So there will be more than 10,000 pillars across the city, and we'll be having 4 surface for each pillars. So we can use those surface for the vertical gardening. And if we use those pillar for the vertical gardening, there will be direct benefits of reduction of the temperature, that will reduce the recent increasing phenomena of urban heat, as well as that will absorb the pollution, both the particulate matter as well as the gaseous pollutant. And finally, this vegetation in the surface of the pillars of metro or elevated expressway that can absorb the noise. So there is three benefits of single effort, single community-led nature-based solution, and as it is a nature-based solution and in a community-led, so government should not actually or government need not to pay any money for this initiative. Mostly the civil society organization, community-based organization, and some technical and policy support from the city corporation or local government department will help to actually achieve this target or this goal. So my like observation here is that this might be a small initiative towards the environmental resilience, but it is important that the community approaches will be used and nature-based solution approach will be used. So this is a simple example of like how we can put a small initiative for making our city livable, and reduce the environmental issues like climate issues, and get some easy solution. And our youth are actually already engaged in this type of activities, and we got a very good response. And I am happy that some of the panelists of today's session, our Mir Mohammad Ali Bhai, as well as the Hasan Roni Bhai, also a part of this initiative. The Footsteps is hosting the main initiative, but other organization as a community or citizens approach this type of thinking is designing. So I would like to conclude my speech here by saying that we have problem. The city like Dhaka, where the population density is top in the world, and having historical meteorological events here. So people already know how to resilience with those disaster, but newly developed climatic events, they are actually not introduced that much, like recent heat waves and other issues. So a nature-based community-led climatic action can help us to make our more resilience to climatic disaster. So thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me here. I'm here for some more time to receive if there are any question from our participant. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. As sir mentioned, we are actually like trying to bring some nature-based solutions in our Dhaka city, as we are facing a very big challenge in terms of air pollution and as water pollutions and sound pollution as well. So we have to actually come forward and we have to work for the environment, and so that and we always think about the solutions so that we can actually like get rid of those problems that we are facing daily. So I think I have a very important question to ask sir, that when we talk about community and youth and Bangladesh is like we always say that we have young people under 35 is more than 60%. So if we talk about youth and especially the community young people, how we can actually engage them in designing and leading nature-based solution related initiatives in Bangladesh?
Yes, thank you, Ronnie bhai. This is very important thing, but you will be happy to know that our youth are self-motivated and they are energetic. Now they are self-taught as well nowadays because of technological or internet development. So they already, like for example, our vertical gardening initiative or air pollution reduction campaign. Youth themselves, they come together, they gather together, and they are in the front line for making people aware, awareness campaign and other activities. They are also innovating some new technologies like digital AI-based traffic management, AI-based air quality control mechanism. Also, they are nowadays they are today in one innovation fair I observe. Young people came up with some waste management technology, AI-based waste management technology. So you can see how they are actually coming up. Now it's our responsibility, like the seniors' responsibility, that how we could give them some mentoring, some financial and technical support, and giving them a platform and place so that they can share their ideas without any fears. And if they start, they are implementing their innovation, then maybe our local problem, locally arise problem can be shot out from our local innovation. So youth people are doing wonderful. They are much better than us.
Thank you so much, sir. I'll get back to you. Uh, I have a question for our keynote speaker, and the question is like, the thing is, nature-based solution is a very important thing for a country like Bangladesh, right? But the thing is, like most of the people don't know about it. Like most of the people, I think, haven't heard about this term as well. So if I ask you how we can actually promote nature-based solution and this term and how it is important for our country, what should you do? Like how we can actually promote nature-based solution in Bangladesh and like in our national level or in our community level as well.
Well, that's a very thought-provoking question. How do we get people to know about it at the same time? Um, why would they be interested? To answer your first part of the question, you don't need people to actually understand nature-based solutions because their grandfathers did it, maybe their fathers did it as well, but they kind of forgot it. We have all kind of grown from an agrarian community. Our forefathers, any of them actually was linked to this terrain better than us. So we do not need to wrap it up in a concept that people don't get. If you say nature-based solutions, people might think, oh, I'm not familiar with this. I don't want to do this. But if you say like you have a pond, you culture your fish over here, you have the peripheral area, you produce plants, and then you have this floating garden over the pond, as Sarah has shown. You have so many benefits. It's a nice place to visit. You have money from it. It's not just a pond. It's generating wealth for you as well. And it's catering ecology. So it's better for you. It's better for the environment. Then it's better to understand. So I think we can translate it in a way so that everybody understands. And for everyone, a nature-based solution might mean something else. For planners, it might mean something else. For an architect, it might translate to something else. And for the youth or the community or children, it might be very simple so that they can understand the importance of it. It doesn't need to be a very complicated definition. It's never that. a very simple thing that has been existed with us for ages, and now we just need to hold on to it and not let it go. And to answer the second part of your question, where you asked that why would people be interested to do it? Well, that's something that we need to campaign about in all sectors, in all ages, among all walks of life. Because whenever we want wealth or we want to be profitable, we directly translate it to a land-based kind of developmental goal where we build something concrete. That is something that has been put into our minds during the colonial period of 200 years, and we have never forgotten it. We cannot forget it now. But if we kind of try to look into the cost benefit analysis or look into the positive economic returns of small ventures of NBS towards the larger ventures of NBS, how, for example, one of my colleagues was saying the other day that when we say health infrastructure, we always think about hospitals or doctor chambers or medicine. But actually, a network of parks, a network of greenways where you can walk every day, you can take rest, you can your kid can play over there. That should be an urban health infrastructure that keeps you healthy. That doesn't make you go to the hospitals. So if we actually understood how much benefit I could get from a green walkway, then maybe I would understand why I need to or harness it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was like on point, and we actually need to promote nature-based solutions more. But we don't have to use this term. But the thing is, the practices that nature-based solution means, we should actually, the people who knows and the experts and the especially government organizations should actually promote it more, as it is very important. And like for a country like Bangladesh, it's more important actually. Thank you so much for joining us and especially sharing your keynote speech, and especially we actually, like, I personally learned a lot from your presentation and your answers as well. Thank you. And let me now go to our next and last presenter. And she is actually working in this development sector, and in a very interesting and very timely sector, and that is energy transition. The thing is, when we talk about pollution, when we talk about the problems we are facing related to climate change and environment related problems that we are facing, are actually mostly or somehow related to energy. And I think in every country in the world, people are actually thinking about energy transition, and how actually this energy transition can be just, and also how this energy transition is related to nature-based solutions, and how we can actually make this energy transition related to our nature, and how we can make these solutions locally led. So let me introduce you to Rubaya Nasrin Shejuti. She is a development expert and also a part-time faculty member of University of South Asia. So let's welcome Rubaya Nasrin Shejuti.
Assalamu alaikum, and thanks for the great introduction, Ronnie. First of all, I want to apologize because I am now joining from outside. Actually, I'm at a hospital right now to attend my father. But as I was committed to this program, so I joined. So I hope you will pardon the excessive noise around here. So yeah, it's an. Am I audible?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
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 Okay. Thank you so much. And I'm really sorry that I can't join in video call right now. So I hope you will understand. So yeah, it's really honor for me to be here today to discuss this topic, which is really pressing nowadays. And I'll be talking about energy transition as a catalyst for nature-based solution in Bangladesh. As we know that as Bangladesh is facing many challenges right now, like climate change, need for clean energy, and as well as inclusive energy transition. But it's really a opportunity to from youth and as well as the expertise to rethink how to protect our ecosystem, how to protect our communities, and as well as how to build a climate resilience community. So yeah, today I will shortly explore how shifting towards renewable energy can unlock new possibilities for nature-based solution. So from restoring mangrove to protect our coastline, also regenerating forest that absorb carbon, all the livelihoods through clean energy initiatives. I'll be talking about this right now. And as an introduction, I can say that Bangladesh is one of the front line of climate change, which is facing some floods, cyclones, erosion, and we are moving forward, like embracing nature-based solution to protect and change towards sustainable management. These include community mangrove plantation to buffer storm surge, also wetland restoration, and we in Bangladesh we particularly work wetland restoration. However, the success of nature-based solution can be limited if communities still rely on unsustainable energy practices. So this is why I am going to talk about how to transit and how to incorporate nature-based solution as well to promote green energy transition. Like one of our speaker already told about solar power, biogas, clean energy, clean stove as well. So these are the complementary role we can have as a solution by reducing pressure on natural resources as well. Uh, so first of all, I want to talk about like renewable energy adoption from ecosystem protection. So we know that transitioning to renewable energy directly it directly supports ecosystem, right? So when it directly supporting ecosystem conservation by cutting down like degradation of fossil fuel in Bangladesh, particularly in rural areas. Uh, Most of the household in our household we have seen that historically dependent on like firewood as well as crop residues, or we saw that dung for cooking fuel, right? So this kind of practices which ultimately drives into deforestation or forest degradation. So this cooking, if I say about ICS, which is improved cook stove, which is clean cooking technologies. Also biogas digester, we know about this, as well as incorporating solar cookers, which particularly provide alternative that curb the need of harvest, and we can cut down the wood from the forest, which can be reduced by using these kinds of technologies, right? So yeah, for example, we have seen that Bangladesh improved cooking stove program has distributed uh, uh, over like 1.5 million, significantly in villages, which was a research from World Bank. And this efficient stove cutted fuel using like roughly 50%. So we can say that ICS is a great technology to cut off the climate, or I can say that carbon emission in particularly in Bangladesh, because in rural areas women are really already have incorporated with this ICS. And as well as one of the study I found it that in Bangladesh ICS park as a national reduced household, which use 40% of cutting of wood fuel. So this lead to like illegal park lodging as well. And also, if we incorporate to biogas, which has been already introduced in Bangladesh, like more than 1 lakh biogas plants in Bangladesh now providing, particularly in cooking or reducing fossil fuel. Now I want to talk about like reducing pressure on natural resources, which is like how we can incorporate uh, less use of natural resource while we are incorporating nature based solution. So what I'm trying to say that a sustainable energy transition reduces over exploitation, right? Over exploitation of what? Over exploitation of natural resources, like what we can see that in Bangladesh, forest and wetland restoration projects often struggle when local communities must use resources for day-to-day survival. Like clean energy provides community needs, and also we particularly use fuel wood, and we already know about the LPG gas, right? So it can be if we incorporate these kinds of technology like ICS biogas, then we can say that we can reduce the use of natural resources, which are ultimately triggered to nature based solution actually. If we talk about like Hakaluke Hauer, already you have know that it's involving community-led NBC in green belt as well for indigenous purpose. Now I want to just particularly say that these kinds of community energy transition initiatives, how these are incorporating community-based energy transition, like through one of the world's largest off-grid solar programs. We know that in Bangladesh, over 6 million solar home systems have been installed in rural areas already, which replaced kerosene lamp. We 90s people know about kerosene lamp. So this already cutting 1 million ton of carbon dioxide emission annually. So yeah, we can see this that solar system not only provide clean electricity, but also create like green jobs for local entrepreneur, and more importantly, during flood and cyclone, off-grid solar keeps services running when the national grid failed. We have a example like in 2022 whole country was in blackout moment. So yeah, if we used to use more solar energy, then we could provide energy in national grid as well. So in this at the community scale, like solar microgrid and hybrid system are also remotely using in clinic, schools, and in many kinds of rural areas. Um, uh, next I'm moving to, actually I'm not sharing the PowerPoint, but here is my PowerPoint with me, like energy transition, how these kinds of energy transition process led to NBS system. uh, if we use a clean energy source, like I have already mentioned that solar and biogas, these households from daily firewood collection and smoky kitchens, these are can be used as a energy transition and also as a NBS system. by using solar home system, we can also create local jobs, especially for women, because I have seen in Satkira that women are more efficient using solar home system rather than uh, men, particularly who works in field areas, and they are using these kinds of solar in using like shaving machine, as well as a lamp, a road lamp. So using the solar electricity, they are also incorporating in education as well, because whenever they get electricity, the efficiency of education also increased in rural area. And if we say about like community organization, like here we can synergize this NBS as well, like what I have shared already, that solar microgrid can also be an option. And this energy security, if we can secure this energy with solar power or any kind of wind, though solar is most pressing right now, wind is not that much, but solar lighting is also can be used in fisheries as well. So yeah, as well as biogas, we know about biogas. Also, we can incorporate like some kind of innovation for scaling NBS, where we can use solar energy like in nurseries, or I have seen drip irrigation. So drip irrigation is one kind of new technologies which has been incorporated in rural areas using solar energy. And as well as like some kind of long community term or community based solution that can be used like this. And I have just few more, just I will take 1 minute, like some short recommendation that how we can incorporate or how we can adopt NBS using energy transition, like using clean energy, solar, biogas, clean stoves, that what I have mentioned already. Also, we can particularly work with women, empower women, and some leaders can be take some actions about this. Not only that, like designing some kinds of climate resilient energy systems can be also an options, and as well as creating incentives for ecosystem which can be a friendly use of energy. And also, we can power up or we can scale up solar powered NBS innovation, which is already expanding, like use of solar irrigation, solar nurseries, and we have seen some boards in international case studies. The boards are using solar power. So yeah, and the last but not the least, like we can incorporate or integrate policies exactly using exactly integrating the energy transition and NBS system as well, which can lead to a more proficient and I can say this that some policy change need to be worked about this integration. So yeah, I got short time, so tried to had some in short from my side. Thank you so much for listening to me. If you have any queries, I'm here to answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was an interesting addition to our whole discussion, because energy point of view is very much important. Because if you ask me, I think like energy transition is the next big thing in terms of development and in terms of climate and environment related work. So this is the time that we take a group photo. We are online, but let's open our camera now and let's take a group photo so that we can post that in social media or everywhere. Okay. Okay, thank you. one photo. Nasir bhaiya, can you please open the camera?
একটু আরেকবার আমরা একটা ছবি নিব জাস্ট একটু গ্যালারির মধ্যে একটা ভিউতে দাও ভিউ গ্যালারি হ্যাঁ থ্যাংক ইউ
We have got it. Thank you so much for your time. And I think we have more 7 minutes. So I will ask one common question to everyone that I asked to Alia ma'am. Is related, is somewhat related, but it's little bit different, that how youth and youth organizations, or maybe small NGOs or local social organizations can adopt nature-based solutions to like fight climate change, or to bring positive changes in our nature, in our climate, in our environment, and solve our environment and climate related problems. I think you understand the question, right? So I think I will start with Kamrujaman sir. If you start, then we can hear from everyone.
Yes, thank you, Ronnie bhai. Actually, after the wonderful presentation by our keynote speaker, this nature-based solution process, methodologies, and scopes that can be easily understandable by all the participants. But with that, one additional things that need to be incorporated, that is the how youth can contribute in that nature-based solution. As our keynote speaker, in her supplementary question, she was telling that our youth or people already by their born, they know what are the nature-based solution. Like if we burn some place, then we just give water from our mouth. So it's a simple techniques. Like in the village people, if cut somewhere, they gave some herbs water from there in the injured area. So, but our newly youth, this is the only places that some of the very indigenous knowledge, they are not actually like practice, because those are slowly they are phasing out. So it is our duty to conserve those nature-based solution techniques that our ancestors practicing for the long time, and bring them in a documented way to our youth. In that way, maybe there will be a bridging between the old traditional nature-based knowledge with the new AI-based generation G and their thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, and very much. I'm very much grateful to like everyone here for joining us. So I'll ask the same question to Mir Mohammad Ali Bhai. So how actually like youth and youth organizations, social organization actually come forward to solve our local problems, and especially bring some nature-based solutions?
Thank you. In the context of aquaculture, most of the farmers are depend on the local shop, local dealers. So they just try to sell their feed, try to sell their medicine and different materials. So they don't give them for the good aquaculture practice. So the local organization can award them and give some prototype where we are not using the pesticides, herbicides, and these types of chemicals and chemicals. So I think these types of technologies can give them to reduce the cost of the production, and uh, also it's a sustainable way. So the local level youth organization can promote these types of technologies to them and to award them, and also they can award to the dealers in the local level, as if we use these types of pesticides or chemicals, it's actually at the time it's impact on the health also. So with the awareness, I think it can be done, or it can be managed by the local youths and other people. And sometimes there are should set some models also, some models and campaigns through different types of social media, as the by the comparison with the conventional model and the new climate led, or I think it's called the climate resilient, these types of technologies.
Thank you so much. Next, Dr. Nasir Uddin Bhai. You are the ending person. You will be ending the question answer session, and let's hear from you.
Thank you very much, Ronnie Bhai. Actually, Professor Kamruzzaman sir and Mr. Mir Muhammad Ali, they already answered the same questions. I just want to answer the same questions in a different way, but combining both of them actually. Nature-based solutions are in the nature actually. Maybe someone already practicing some, solutions we don't know, or that's are not in our observation. So what we can do basically as a youth, community based or activist organizations, what we can do, we can actually do something. For example, like Olympiad, we may declare basically the collecting ideas. We can do some Olympiad or competitions. Maybe we can organize a competition next month. Whoever submit their nature-based solutions, we will go through all those things and see actually which one is effective, which one is not effective, or actually even although before going for field implementations and nutshell observations, people can think whether this is actually realistic or something like that. So we can collect those ideas, number one, from different sources, from literate, illiterate, or even root level communities, whatever they are actually practicing, whatever in their mind. Like the Zulhash Mullah, who actually built a plane. Maybe he was thinking about this in so long time. So similar things, nature-based solutions are in everyone's mind. Maybe those who are in root level or marginalized level communities. We should first things a community-based, youth-based, or activist organization can do, collecting ideas across the country by taking a time and communicating those ideas, as well as testifying those ideas. So regarding testification, for example, I have collected 100 ideas now. Maybe we can go for some small grant, $1,000, $2,000, or whatever, just for practicing, just to motivate or monitor them, asking some community people that, okay, please test this one. We can go for testing whether those ideas applicable or not. If we have the capacity, we can go for a bigger amount of idea testification, or a small number of ideas testifications. So these are two things community-based, activists, and youth groups can do. Another one things, connecting policymakers and government's decisions makers. Like we in a Bangladesh, we are in a growing trend. The government of Bangladesh actually looking for some innovative ideas that can solve our issues, as well as increase the productivity in context of agriculture, in context of fisheries, in context of conservations of biodiversity, energies, all those things. So if we can act as a bridge to connect the root level people's ideas with the policymakers or decision makers, and gradually make communications between the root levels and the policy or implementing bodies. That will be one of the good things. And similar things for development partners or donors who are not connected with the root level peoples, activist, youth-based, and community organizations can do work in this field. So these three ways, I think, in a nutshell, a community-based activist youth organization can come forward to identify a service solution, to testify in a service solutions, to connect community people with the policymakers, with the donors, with the development partners.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all our speakers, participants for the incredibly enriching discussion. And today's session shows that solutions already exist in our rivers, forests, coasts, and communities. And with collective action, we can scale them to secure a better future. I would like to thank International Center for Climate Change and Development, ICCCAD, Gobeshona Global Conference organizing team members, and of course, all of you, the change makers, the thinkers, the doers. Let's stay rooted in hope, in action, and in nature. I am saying goodbye to all of you. I'll see you again soon. Thank you so much, everyone.
Goodbye, goodbye.
Goodbye, good night.
Good night, good night.